Hi, everyone.
Hello. How is everyone tonight?
That glare. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to tell you, I'm not going to put anything up on the screen, but I'm going to go over conditional acceptance and how to do one tonight because a lot of people are asking me how to do that. But I'm going to go step by step. So if you want to get some paper while we're waiting on other people to come in so you can take notes, that will probably be beneficial for you to have because I'm going to go in great detail of the conditional acceptance. I know a lot of people haven't been able to find one and stuff like that. So I had a lot of emails requesting this. I don't think that this is what won the poll last week. But we will go over tax stuff next week. And some other things, possibly some UCC stuff. So we might do educational and Q&A, a brief educational and Q&A on Monday. And then plan for Wednesday night to do another education. But I'm just going based off of the requests that I'm getting. So lots of requests for conditional acceptance.
And that's going to be important, guys, because we're going to need to start really conditional accepting these companies, especially when they do not take our negotiable instruments. That way we can lien them. It gives us the power of attorney to lien them.
And we'll go over all that. So BCS, you joined at the right time. We're going over exactly what you requested tonight. And then just so you know, I'm also going to I'm still promising to put myself in a room and do some educational videos to put up so you can watch them on your own time. And that's when I'll share more screenshots of things so that you can take notes from that. It's just harder to do in a live for me. I know it isn't for a lot of people that do this all the time, but I would rather just, screen share when I'm doing it on my own, so that we can make sure everything gets in there right. And then, those will be coming out. And then I wanted to go over the conditional acceptance before I share it in our files, but I will put this up in our files on Telegram once we go over everything tonight. So, and if you see anything within my conditional acceptance that you think needs to be improved upon, please, we're all in this together. I'm not one that knows everything. I've just tried to put everything in here that I know is important. So if you see anything, once it's up and posted into the files, if you see anything that I can improve upon, please give your feedback because, I learn from you guys just like you learn from us. We're just going to wait for just a few more minutes, maybe a minute or two more, and let a few more people come in because I don't want, people to miss out on this that want to be here. Lewis, Guy, I have your name down. I'll send you the agreement after. After we're done.
And Arnell, you emailed but did not get a response. Anybody that hasn't gotten a response on email, we're getting to them, guys.
And some of you may get honestly, some of you may have already talked to us or been taken care of, and you may get an email from me just making sure that nothing's falling through the cracks, because I'm running emails. I'm doing all of the emails. Drew's doing all of the DMs on Telegram. If you're messaging us on Facebook, I haven't even looked at Facebook, and I'm not going to. So you're not going to get a response from us on Facebook. We can't manage everything. So if you're a realtor in the group, and we'll go over this later, if you're a realtor in the group, we have set up our Telegram network. We will be setting up CPA, attorney that are understanding of constitutional law. We're going to set up a Telegram group for CPAs, attorneys, financial professionals, and then we're going to also try to set one up for dealerships, because I want to have a network for everyone. And if anyone wants me to set up a medical Telegram so that the doctors that we have within our group can come together and network together, please let me know if you want that. I'm not a physician, but Drew's in medical field, so we can set up a medical, and that way everyone can start to connect in your industry. I say that because we have some doctors within our group that watch us and that, are working with us too behind the scenes. So, okay, so if y'all want to get started, we'll bow in prayer and then start from here. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. Thank you so much for this time together, for bringing us all together again to learn more about what you would have us to learn in order to have the freedom that you want us to have. Lord Jesus, may you speak through me and to me as I educate on the things that I do know, and please bring to my head tonight what you want me to say and what you want me to other people to know. And I thank you for all of this, and I thank you for our time together. In Jesus' name. Okay. So, do you have anything you want to say? Any announcements you want to make?
Nah, I mean, I took a big stack today to Austin. We're working on them as quick as we can. If we get 25 a day done, that's 25 people. What everyone needs to realize is that 25 people could be about 75 filings, because most average is about two per individual. Some have 3, some have 4. So, that's what takes.
And
takes the time.
And some have more if we're helping to pay off their bills too. Some people have more than that. And you've got to understand, on top of building the file, we have to also file all of the other forms, and we have to handwrite them. So it's a process to get all that done.
So yes. So we are getting to them. I would say we're probably on the 22nd. Mm-hmm. And if we've missed anybody on the 21st, we're picking them up, or any other ones, we're going back and double checking. So we're getting to them, guys. Thank you all for being patient. Mm-hmm. Thank you all for working with us.
And from, I've said this the other night too, on our live, but going forward, if you have the agreement and the copy Bs, it's very helpful for you to send those together in an email or even a DM, however you want to do it. But getting them at one time prevents us from having to go look for them. And what happens is, if I get an agreement, but I don't have a 1099, I'm putting that in a box of missing something. So I'm not going to process and get everything completed until we have the file completely done for audit purposes. So if there's anything that needs to be, if I request something from you, then that's when hey, they're needing something. Otherwise, you're going to get paperwork processed from us. And if you haven't already and you are before the 20th, I promise you will be hearing from us. We just we're trying to get the paperwork done before we shoot out all of the emails. So
And in Telegram, I've actually started putting received your paperwork, will let you know once processed. So, you know, and I'm going through those as quick as I can. There's one of me doing my DMs, and I don't know how many guys are in our actual Telegram channel that are DMing back sometimes. So I look at it as I'm going down, and the numbers keep going up in the DMs.
And there's one of me doing emails, because we're at a point now where it's too hard to do it virtually, because everything that really most everything in Telegram, besides dropping a quick link, I mean, not Telegram, in email, most everything that's coming through email is to be printed. So it's too hard to do that. I can't do that virtually. So it's really just me handling emails, him handling DMs, and most of that's printing. So that's why I say, if you can just make sure your copy B and your agreement are together, it's very helpful, because I can build the file right then and it's good to go. Okay. And also tomorrow at 4:30 Central Time until 6 o'clock, we're going to do another Q&A on Telegram. If you need the Telegram link still for tomorrow, I'm sorry. I know that it's a pain that you have to come and ask for the Telegram link. And I know that it's a pain that you have asked and still haven't gotten it. And I'm sorry for that. I'm doing the best I can to drop the links. We're having to make them have a time limit, because we don't want them passed around to the wrong people to get into our channel. We obviously have scammers out there. If you know of any friends, family, anybody that's following us that is having trouble replying or talking within the Telegram that they're in, if there's any punctuation in the name, if there's I just can't tell you. There's 3 scam pages now. There's a study channel. We don't have a study channel. There's another channel that has underscores. That's not us. If they're talking about crypto or any of that, that's not us. But unfortunately, I think we have some scammers within our group. They will be found out eventually. And they have gone as far as to take my voicemail and use my voicemail. So the scam is real. There's nothing more that we can do about it except try to locate the IP and stuff like that behind the scenes. And but if any of your friends, family, or you are having trouble talking amongst our group in the chat channel or anything like that, then you're most likely in the wrong group. So just be patient. Let me know. Just put in the subject line Telegram, and we'll drop you a link. And, you know, just try to get in as soon as you get the link so that it doesn't expire on you. And then we'll do the Q&A tomorrow at 4:30 Central Time until 6. And we'll limit it to one question and try to not elaborate like I usually do. Okay.
And real quick, anybody that is asking for an agreement, either email us at jarrettrealtyinvestors@gmail.com or send a DM to me at Drew Jarrett. I'm going to drop it into the chat. I'll pin it and put need agreement. If you DM me, I need your email address. That way I can go in and click on your email address, copy it, and go in and send you the agreement. So I'm going to put that into the chat real quick, and I'll go ahead and let Tara get started. And
I know it's a pain. We're not trying to block our channel where you can't get in. We're trying to protect our channel so that people don't take from us and use it to scam people. They used our agreement already once to scam people, and it looks like us because it is our stuff. So it's very hard to tell who you're talking to, but Drew's dropping the email that is ours into the DM that is ours, because they've created DMs for Drew and for me. My DM is Tara Jarrett 2016. They have one that's created at Tara Jarrett. That's not me. So just be careful with that. Sorry, I wasn't talking to Siri, but anyway, what else? They've also created cash apps for us. That's if you haven't gotten it from our chat channel, I would just request that from us directly from the email that Drew just put up. And it's Jarrett Realty Investors at gmail.com. That's our email address with no punctuation. Okay. So if you have pen and paper, hopefully you do by now, and you're ready to take notes because we're going to go through a conditional acceptance. So I hope and pray that everyone is on board with us standing up to the corporations as a group. I really hope that we're all here on the same page to do the same, to achieve the same goals. And one of those being to, I'm not going to say take down corporations. I'm going to say make them aware of what our rights are and what they violated. And so by doing that, so as you all know, through this 1099-A process, you can go in and you can do your own 1099-A to pay off whatever debt you have, whether it be to, your credit card, your mortgage, your car loan, your utilities, your cell phone bills, anything, because this is how they get the money, and this is how they get paid on things and double dip into our trust. So for those of you that don't know, and maybe this will get some people fired up so that we can all be on the same page. For those of you that are just learning about us and getting started with us, let me just quickly explain the fraud. Let's just take a car loan, for instance, okay? You go to the bank, you fill out your loan application, and they say, sure, we're going to give you a loan for this amount of money. When you sign that document to accept the loan, you're signing that document as the creditor, not as the debtor. Okay, you're signing that as the creditor and giving them permission to go into your Sesticade trust that was created from your social security number and straw man. And they go into that account and they pull the money out for your car loan. They give that money to you so that you can get the car. They ask you to pay that money back to them with interest. So they make the money off of you again. And then when you send in the remittance coupon, they're double dipping again into your trust and getting paid, because if you look at your remittance coupon on the bottom, there's routing and account numbers. That is to pay from your trust back to them. So they're double dipping into your trust every month. And pretty much every corporation is doing this. Anyone that you're paying bills to is doing this. Any company that you're getting a remittance coupon from is doing this. So here's how we are going to hopefully stand up as patriots together. And like I said, this is a worldwide movement. This is not just an America First kind of movement. This is everyone. Everyone. I've talked to everyone across different countries. We've got people here from Canada, from the UK, from the Netherlands, from Costa Rica, from the Dominican Republic, from England. We've got people from everywhere that we're working with, and everyone gets their money from the same place. So that was shocking to me, but this is a worldwide thing. Most of these corporations that we get our credit from are the same in other countries. So this is definitely something that we need to stand up to and recognize that we do have rights and what our rights are. So when we go in to file a 1099-A to pay a bill, and they come back to you and they tell you, we cannot accept your payment. We only take US dollars. We only take cashier's check, money order, US dollars, then they are denying your payment, because a 1099-A is a payment to abandon the debt. Okay. 1099-A is an acquisition to acquire property, which is why it needs to be collateral backed. And it is a 1099-A for abandonment, which debt, you're abandoning the debt and acquiring the property, which is why you can use this to pay off debt and acquire property. So when they say that they will not accept your payment, they are telling you that, first of all, you have made the payment in full by doing that. There are no US dollars in this country. There are Federal Reserve notes, which are no more than just the paper that I'm writing on. They're backed by nothing. There's no gold and silver. So there's nothing backing the Federal Reserve note, which is why you can use this. And it's a perfect form of payment. So when you send off your payment, whether it be by coupon, the remittance coupon, and you put on the front of it, except for value for HJR 192 of 1933, or whether it be by 1099-A, or whether it be by a promissory note, or whatever type of instrument that you're using to make that payment. Those are all definite forms of payment. And when you write that in full to pay something off, you have lawfully and in every sense of the word paid that amount, that loan, that bill, whatever it is, off when you do that. But because most corporations, and including, I would say including even some CEOs, that they don't understand, or don't care to understand, or don't want to pretend that they understand, that the money to them, I think in some cases when they lend the money, that they know that they have to go to the Treasury to get the money from them, but I don't think that some of them are aware of where that money is coming from. So it is our job. It is our job as a group and in our movement to enlighten and to educate these people on how they get paid and why we are able to do this. So let's walk through the conditional acceptance that I have. Again, after we're done with this, I'll put it up on Telegram. And please, if you have anything that you think I can improve upon, please let me know, because we're all in this together and I want this to work for all of us. So let's go through it. So my conditional acceptance at the top, it says, this is a private communication between the parties. Okay. And it says notice to principal is notice to agent, and notice to agent is notice to principal. Then I have the date on it. And then I have, just like you're doing a letter to someone, I have the from. And I have my beneficiary name as a person that is coming from. And I name myself as beneficiary with my beneficiary name typed out. As the trustor and secured party to the Social Security Sesta KV Trust with my straw man name. And then I have my without prejudice, and then my care of, my address. And be sure on there, it says non-domestic on your address, because we'll go through all that. But when you and you want to spell out your state, by the way, if we haven't gone through that, you want to spell out your state, because when you use the abbreviation of the state that you live in to send mail, you're giving them federal jurisdiction over you. The abbreviation of your state is contracting with them when you get mail. So always spell out your state name, and always put your zip code in brackets. And then we're going to say, after the from, I go down and it says to the trustees and their principals is what I have. And then I have a number 1 underneath that, and it says It's going to be the CEO. So you're going to list, you don't say, mine says like the beneficiary name of the CEO, because you want to address them as the living person, the living man or woman. And you want to address them also in a straw man manner. So mine says the CEO, beneficiary name spelled out, doing business as the trustee of the Social Security Sestakay v. Trust, with the straw man name of you, because they're doing business underneath your straw man for their bills, for the bill that they've created for you. And then you're going to use the CEO's straw man name. And then you listen, president of the trust business entity, titled, the company name. And I don't expect you to remember all this, but I'm just walking through how I do it. So you're going to name them. You want to be able to name them in both the beneficiary name of the CEO. You want to address them by the straw man name also, because that covers both people, the straw man version, corporate entity version of them, and the living person as a CEO. And then you're going to put their address. After I put that, I put certified receipt number, and I put the certified mailing receipt number of the package that I'm mailing, so that it's in there. And then I put, with completion of service and designation of witnesses. As my witnesses, I always list 2 witnesses that will also receive the conditional acceptance. So you're going to want to do it to Merrick Garland, who is the Attorney General of the United States Corporation. So you're going to list him with the beneficiary name also, and the straw man for Merrick Garland. And then you're going to put their address of where his office is located with the certified mailing receipt that you're mailing to him. And then you're going to get the Attorney General of your state. And you're going to have those 2 as your witnesses. The Attorney General for the corporation and the Attorney General for your state. It's very important and much, much stronger to have 2 witnesses listed than to just have it going to the CEO only. So that kind of puts them on notice that you're not the only one that's receiving this, and you might want to take this seriously. And then after I list those 2 people of who it's going to and who it's from, then I say notice of conditional acceptance. So then I say, this is how mine goes. Greetings to whoever the CEO is. And I address them by their living person or living man or woman name. Not person, sorry. I'm still in elementary for some things too. But greetings to you, the CEO's name. I address them in the living man or woman name as a beneficiary name. And then I say doing business as the straw man. Trustee operating as president for trust entity and whatever the corporation is. Okay, and then I say this correspondence in reference to several governing bodies that as a corporation you are bound to act honestly and in good faith and charged with an equitable duty to deal with the trust property and to make the best decision for the beneficiary of the trust. You have received multiple negotiable instruments of payment from the beneficiary, or 1 or 2, or however you want to specify, okay? If you've sent only 1, you might want to say, you've received my promissory note, or you've received my remittance coupon, or you've received my 1099-A as a negotiable instrument, whatever you want to. If you've done it once, which is all we're really supposed to do it, but because some of these people are clueless, I've tried it multiple times to send to some of these people to try to get it paid off. So anyway, depending on your circumstance, you're going to say something to the effect of, you have received multiple negotiable instruments of payment from the beneficiary to pay the debt in full from the straw man account. You have failed to uphold your relationship as the trustee of the trust and have not acted in the best interest of the beneficiary, which is considered fraud. You have refused to accept any negotiable instrument as payment. However, you have never returned any of the negotiable instruments sent via certified mail. Therefore, that is acceptance of value per UCC 3-603. Okay, that UCC code is very important. If you're taking notes, I would definitely write that one down and get to know it. Negotiable instruments is payment. I'm going to repeat. Negotiable instruments is payment. However, you have never returned, because they're not going to return a negotiable instrument that you send, because they're going to put it into your trust and get the money from it. Never returned any of the negotiable instruments sent via certified mail. Therefore, that is acceptance of value per UCC 3-603. The payment has been made in full, however many times, one time. The payment's been made in full twice, however many times you've done it. And you have refused to place zero balance on the ledger paid by the straw man. I will conditionally accept your offer of refusal of payment if you can meet these terms and conditions. Now, remember real fast that that your conditional acceptance is a counter offer. Okay, so because they haven't zeroed out your account, you're making them a counter offer to do so by sending the conditional acceptance, which is part of contract law. You make an offer, they accept it or they don't give you a reason why, you turn around and you counter offer something. So that's what a conditional acceptance is. You're making a counter offer to them to see if they will do it now with stipulations. So then it says, moving on, I serve this conditional acceptance upon the trustee, their principals, and the living person, whoever the CEO is right there, and I use their beneficiary name. I do that out of respect. And so that I'm addressing the living person CEO. And then be it known, the conditional acceptance to your offer establishes a common law contract between us. And then here's the facts that I put on mine. You can make this however you need to make it to fit your circumstances. I know that some people last night were asking about a repossession on Chris's channel. You can turn this conditional acceptance into, you can make it your own, because all of the same codes and most of the same things apply, except that they're not paying it off because they've already repoed your vehicle. So you're basically giving them a notice to settle something with you, or else take it to the Treasury to collect on your behalf. So you can turn the conditional acceptance into anything you need it to be for any circumstance. This is just the one that I'm using right now is just to pay off debt. I have one that I, tweaked a little bit to get a car when the dealership corporation said that they couldn't accept the payment, but you can make it fit whatever circumstance. So here's my facts and events, and then the incident and subsequent parties involved. And then I have number one. On whatever date, sent the beneficiary, living woman, myself, has sent negotiable instruments to settle the full balance of the created debt and have never received a reply, which was required, never received any of the instruments back, which means that the account is satisfied in full per UCC 3-603. And these are just my statement of facts, okay? These are all of my statement of facts. These are not stipulations on them. These are just the facts of what I'm presenting to them. And then number 2 says the U.S. federal government and the several United States did totally and completely debase the organic lawful constitutional coin of the several states of the Union of the United States. Number 3, that the federal government and the several United States have and continue to breach the express mandates of Article 1, Section 10 of the federal Constitution regarding the minting and circulation of lawful coin. Number 4, that the lawful coin and former ability to pay debts and make purchases has been replaced with fiat paper currency with a limited capacity to only discharge debts. Number 5, that Congress of the United States did legislate and provide the American people a remedy, a means to discharge all debt and make purchases dollar for dollar via HJR 192 of 1933 due to the declared bankruptcy of the corporate United States via the abolishment of the constitutional coin and currency. Number 6, no assured value, no liability, error, nor omissions accepted, all rights reserved and retained without recourse, non-assumptive. And then number 7, there are no judicial courts in America, and there has not been since 1789. Judges do not enforce statutes and codes, and that's per FRC versus GE 281. It's a big, long thing that you will have to copy later. Number 8, on such and such date, whatever date that is for you, CEO, in their beneficiary name and their strawman name, trustee of business entity for whatever corporation they work for, has refused negotiable instruments, however many, and have not returned any of the beneficiary's instruments, which by default is, again, payment in full per UCC 3-603. Number 9, the trustee has failed to perform their duties as trustees of the Sesta KV Trust for you, the strawman. Number 10, the certificate of live birth or a certificate of title is a bond that evidences title held by the depository trust company. The issuer has legal title. You have equitable title up until you partner up to share suitable title with the United States. SS5 creates you, the strawman, which is surety for the vessel. The vessel is the body and evidenced on the application by length, weight, and footprints. A body manifested into the sea of commerce. The beneficiary is supposed to be me, myself, and I. But the depository company, trust company, is at 55 Water Street, whatever that address is, 55 Water Street, New York City, and operates both in the public and private side. Under Civil RICO racketeering laws, 18 U.S.C. 1964, as corporations have established a pattern of racketeering activity, if proven there is a conspiracy to deprive of property without due process, creates various constitutional injuries under 18 U.S.C. A 241. That's 18. So get to know 18 U.S.C. of 1964 and get to know 18 U.S.C. A 241. Knowledge and neglect to prevent a United States constitutional wrong, and 31 U.S.C. 5118D, so that's 31 U.S.C. 5118D. Number 2, none can ask for payment in specific coin. And then 31 U.S.C. 3123. Okay, so let's go over real fast those again. 18 U.S.C. 1964, 18 U.S.C. A 241, 31 USC 5118, and 31 USC 3123. There's no money, so there's no one that can demand payment. And then I quote, every taxpayer is assessed to KV. Every taxpayer is assessed to K Trust, having a sufficient interest in preventing abuse of the trust to be recognized in the field of this court's prerogative jurisdiction as a relator in the proceeding to set a sovereign authority in motion by action. In Boland 135 NW Rep 164, 1912, Supreme Court of Wisconsin. And here's the deal, not to completely change the subject, but to basically take a breath for a sec. The original Constitution applies. The original Constitution, not the amended version that they did in 70 something.
78.
The amended Constitution is not what we go by under common law. The original Constitution still applies, which is why in courtrooms today, an attorney cannot bring up a case prior to 1938 because they would be overruling Supreme Court rulings. So they're not allowed to bring that up. So just to say that. So there's a lot of Supreme Court cases out there that if you look back, Marbury versus Madison has never been overturned. There's a lot of Supreme Court rulings that are already like made on your behalf that have already been, ruled on. So those can't be overturned, especially by a local judge. If they try to overturn the Supreme Court, they know they don't want to do that. So they don't allow attorneys to talk about anything prior to 1938. Okay, so here's the next step of my conditional acceptance is breach. Count number 1, breach of trust. The trustee's violation of either the trust terms or the trustee's general fiduciary obligations. The violation of a duty that equity imposes on a trustee, whether the violation of a duty was willful, fraudulent, negligent, or inadvertent. A breach of trust subjects the trustee to removal and creates personal liabilities. And count number 2, denial of payment through a negotiable instrument under UCC 1-304. So get to know and make a note that you want to understand and learn UCC 3-104. And then, as we've said before, you want to use Black's Law Dictionary, 4th and 5th edition. Anything after 4th and 5th edition has been modified to fit the agenda. So, let's see. So Black's Law Dictionary defines instrument as a written document, a formal or legal document in writing, such as a contract, deed, will, bond, or a lease, a negotiable instrument, or a security, or any other writing which evidences a right to the payment of money and is not itself a security agreement or a lease, and it is of a type which is in ordinary course of business transferred by delivery with any necessary endorsement or assignment. I know that's a lot, so I don't expect you to remember that. Certificate of service and interested parties is my next section of it, and it says, however, your claim to prove negligence is conditionally accepted by me as a human and the human beneficiary if it is or was intended to relate to me with the following conditions. And here's the actual stipulations part. So this is where you're going to list all of your stipulations. Within 5 calendar days, I give them 5 because I'm sick of playing around with them. Okay, but you can give them 10, which is what you're really supposed to do, is give them 10 days. In this particular one, I gave them 5 because I'm tired of dealing with them. But within 5 calendar days of the date of this conditional acceptance, since certified mail return receipt, you deliver to me the following. A, produce substantial evidence that you provided lawful consideration to the transaction being that the current United States and the current 50 states are all insolvent, as well as their citizenry, and all commercial banks, credit unions, and corporations, according to a 1992 congressional record of the 102nd Congress, as given by Dr. Henry or Mr. Henry Gonzalez. Number B, produce substantial evidence to the contrary that the national economic emergency of the bankruptcy of the United States in 1933 is still ongoing, and that a national remedy for discharge and acquittance was already established pursuant to 12 USC 95 and 50 USC 4305 B2. Please provide evidence to the contrary that the United States Congress did not declare the Bible as the Word of God in 1982 and in 1983 declared that the year as the year of the Bible. They also encouraged the American people to study and apply the teaching therein. Letter D. Please provide evidence to the contrary that in Deuteronomy chapter 25, 13 through 16 forbids unscrupulous lending practices and unequal weights and measures. And E, please provide evidence to the contrary that according to the U.S. Department of Treasury Resource Center, Federal Reserve notes are not, in all bold, redeemable in gold, silver, or any other commodity, and receive no backing by anything. This has been the case since 1933. Okay. Letter F. Please provide evidence that as a corporation registered in North America and or specifically in the state of Texas, that you are not bound by the Texas statutes and the Uniform Commercial Code. So in there, you're going to put whatever state you're in. G, please provide evidence that the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, is not the comprehensive set of laws governing all commercial contracts in the United States. Letter H, please provide evidence of your corporation's exemption status of Article 3 of the Uniform Commercial Code, covering commercial paper such as draft promissory notes, checks, are not acceptable as a means to satisfy payments. I, please provide evidence to the contrary that negotiable instruments are not used for purposes of payments or goods and services. J, please provide evidence to the contrary that negotiable instruments are not used as a cash substitute. K, please provide evidence to the contrary pursuant to Title 31 of the United States Code, Money and Finance, that negotiable instruments is not a circulating note of the Federal Reserve banks and national banking associations. Please provide evidence that HJR 192 of June 5th, 1933 does not apply to the payment in which was presented, and that Public Law 7310, y'all need to know, you have to know HJR 192 and understand it, and you have to know Public Law 7310. So here we go again. Please provide evidence that HJR 192 of June 5th, 1933, and that stands for House Joint Resolution, by the way, does not apply to the payment in which was presented and that Public Law 7310 does not state that all debts, both public and private, are paid in full. Letter M. Please provide evidence that there is gold and silver to make purchases according to Article 1. You need to know this too. Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution. All debts and payments shall be payable in gold and silver coin. Letter N. Provide evidence that 18, write this down, 18 USC 8, evidence that 18 USC 8, as well as HJR 192, Public Law 7310, does not state that all debts and obligations, public and private, are obligations of the United States in which they will cover dollar for dollar as stated in the above mentioned public law. Letter or letter O, sorry. Provide evidence that your company is a debt collector according to 15 USC 1692 A number 6. You need to know, I'm going to stop and breathe for a second, but you need to know 15 USC. Really and truly look up 15 USC 1692 A through K. It's important if you're fighting debt to be familiar with 15 USC 1692 A through K. Because 15 USC is going to be listed from now on in my conditional acceptance, but that applies to commercial, so you really want to, or commerce, so you really want to get to know those codes. Okay, letter P, provide evidence that your company has not created an account for the organization per 15 USC 1602 D, also known as a trust, in which the consumer is a beneficiary to. Q, provide evidence that your corporation has authority or authorization by the consumer or organization to create the account or be in the use of the organization's credit card per 15 USC 1602 L. R, provide evidence that your corporation has provided a benefit to the organization or consumer with the use of the credit card in which you never had the permission to use in any nature, showing the action of an unauthorized use under 15 USC 1602 P. The letter S, provide evidence that the credit account your company has created, as well as the statements of account provided to the consumer, are in violation of the treatment of credit balances under 15 USC 1666 D, as well as being considered a billing error of the accounting nature under 15 USC 1666. Another one to get to know, 15 USC and the evil number 1666. Letter T, provide evidence that it is not a fact according to 15 USC 1692 A4 that your corporation can be a creditor to the transaction due to the transfer of the alleged debt. U, provide evidence that your corporation did not violate 15 USC 1692 D and 1692 E with the threat to harm the organization's property, as well as giving the impression that accounts have been turned over to innocent purchasers for value. Okay, and so if on the other hand, you, the trustee, and your principals cannot satisfy these conditions in the time allotted, allowing for a reasonable extension if requested in writing, stating specific time needed, and since your documentation witnesses, amongst other facts, addressing this conditional acceptance of your offer that you, the trustees, and your principals willingly, knowingly, and maliciously were seeking to commit fraud against me to deprive me of my rights and property, both against me and the Social Security Sesta KV Trust, with my strawman name, you hereby contracted to the following. Okay, so here's where it gets real. And here's where we have to stand up. Because when we send this, we have to do something about it if they don't zero out our account. And if enough people do this, we will win because there's more of us if we stand up together. Number one, for any injuries to me, the beneficiary, the trustees, and their principals are indebted to me for $5 million and no cents each in the money account of the United States of America, Constitution for the United States of America, Article 1, Section 10. And if the money of account is not available, I would receive without prejudice payment in lieu of the money of account of Federal Reserve notes, a bank draft, or the like. Furthermore, witness through this conditional acceptance if you willfully and knowingly injure me. I have the authority to create a claim of lien against each of you, and file a financing statement against you each, supporting my lien as I deem necessary to protect me, my property, and my rights if needed at any time. Additionally, in order to facilitate my rights under this conditional acceptance and security agreement, you agree that I have your power of attorney, power of authority to file anything to bring about payment of this unlawful rejection and protect me, my property, and my rights, and that you have no right of action or recourse in any action at law, action in equity, or admiralty, or any other law herein, written or implied against me or my filings. Additionally, you agree that you grant your power of authority and attorney to me with my beneficiary name so that I am able to collect the damages through a lien, UCC 1, UCC 3, Treasury, Forms 1040V and 1040, 1099A, and 1099 OID. Additionally, you agree that every year an additional set of liens. Now listen to this, because that not only have they given me, by not replying and not zeroing out the balance, not only have they given me permission to have power of attorney and authority over them to get my redemption, they are also agreeing that every year an additional set of liens can be filed with the Treasury if such injury to me persists on a yearly basis. So if I go this year to get a vehicle and they tell me no, they will not accept my payment, and I go again next year and they tell me they will not accept my payment, I've already got in writing that I have their power of attorney and authority to lien them again every year. So it is understood that even though an IRS Form 1040 is for a tax class 2 and the 1099A and 1099 OID are a tax class 5.
You're covering yourself up. Sorry.
You can't. They can see.
Okay.
I do not know of any other way to pay, since there is no gold and silver coin or U.S. dollars to pay with other than to use these forms. So I use them without prejudice. Okay, so let's kind of repeat that because I was kind of out of breath. Let's see. So it is understood, let's just say that again. It is understood that even though an IRS Form 1040 is for a tax class 2 and the 1099A and 1099 OID are a tax class 5, I do not know of any other way to pay, since there is no gold and silver coin or U.S. dollars to pay with other than to use these forms, so I use them without prejudice. Number 2, please note any attempts to delay without just cause not approved by me will result in legal action and charges being filed for the federal crimes of trust fraud and all other violations of law that apply. Be advised that I, my beneficiary name, have not knowingly and willingly nor freely participated in these crimes, having full knowledge of the egregious actions violating not only U.S. federal laws, but also violating all the laws of moral decency, honor, and integrity of basic human living, sentient beings, children of God. Number 3, please note that anyone other than the current or acting CEO that responds to this conditional acceptance. Now, here's another very powerful thing that I put in there, or I think is powerful and has been helping a lot of people get at least a reply. So number 3 in mine says, please note that anyone other than the current or acting CEO that responds to this conditional acceptance is giving their power of attorney and permission to personally lien them as well through the U.S. Treasury per 18 U.S.C. 1701, obstruction of mail, 18 U.S.C. 1702, obstruction of correspondence. 18 U.S.C. 1703, delay or destruction of mail. And 18 U.S.C. 1708, theft of receipt of stolen mail. These are also federal offenses punishable by multiple years in prison per codes. And then I put my name, avouchment. I, the beneficiary name, do hereby avow that based upon my firsthand knowledge and information relayed to me from research, that this conditional acceptance is true, accurate, and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, and conveys the conditions set forth as intended by me. With you can either have two witnesses or you can have a notary sign off on this, whatever your preference is. And then at the end, I put there are some maxims of law which state notice to principal is notice to agent, and notice to agent is notice to principal. Ignorance is no respecter. It affects all without regard to position or title. A man may not with impunity infringe upon another man's rights. And then I put my conditional, or I sign it again with my beneficiary's name as a beneficiary and say, conditional acceptance of your offer of refusal of payment, and I put my account number for that particular account. So that is my conditional acceptance. And I know a lot of people are scared to lien. They hear what happened to Chris and they're worried about it happening to them. Chris didn't do anything wrong. I know that a lot of people think that he did. He didn't do anything wrong. The federal said he did nothing wrong, and it was the state that came after him. Why? Because he was going after the state. The conditional acceptance that I have put forth right here, and if you have listened and really listened, they're giving you by not responding to you or not accepting your payment or proving to you under A through U of my conditional acceptance that they have evidence that everything that I have said is false. Okay, which it's not. Everything that I've said is accurate and true. They cannot prove anything in that conditional acceptance to be false. And if they do not respond, if they do not zero out my account, and if they do not tell me that they need more time to figure it out and ignore me, they have given me power of attorney over them to personally lien whoever is involved. Okay, that's powerful. That is very powerful. So I want you to think about this and say, hey, if all of us, and we're going to use random corporations here, if all of us have a loan with ABC Corporation, okay, and ABC Corporation offers personal loans, they offer mortgage loans, they offer auto loans, they offer construction loans, or, whatever kind of loan you want. And they also offer credit cards. Imagine if 30 of us got ignored. Imagine if 20 or 30 of us sent in a 1099-A to pay off ABC Corporation, and they all refused. And we all sent them a conditional acceptance, and then they refused that too. So we turn around and all lien them and follow through with what we say at $5 million each times 20 or 30 people. What would that do to a corporation? ABC Corporation would feel the effects, especially if you had multiple things with them. Especially if you have a mortgage, a car loan, and a credit card with the same company, and they're doing it 3 different times with one person. That's $15 million for one person to go after them for 3 different things. So, you know, I hope in this movement that we can stand up together and start letting them hear us so that they will take us seriously, because fear is what they've instilled in us for our whole lives. They've always wanted us to fear everything. Like, we've got to pay taxes and we fear if we don't, because they've made it that way. The past 2 years, what kind of fear have they put in our head? So except for us who have, woke up to what they were trying to do, but the ones that haven't, that have got fear instilled in them, this has been going on, and this is their tactic and always has been. And what have we done as a body? We've sat down and either didn't know and just went along with what we were told, which we're all guilty of, which is why we're all here learning now. Or we have gotten this information tonight and we continue to sit down. Because how is that going to help anyone if we continue to sit down and do nothing to help each other? It's time I believe that we're in a great awakening. I believe that it is time for us to stand up as a movement together, which is why we have a community that we have on Telegram and everywhere here, so that we can all talk amongst each other and stand up together and know that you have support. Because a lot of us don't have the support of our families. We have each other, and that there's very few like-minded people around us these days. So, I hope that this will help to educate some of the CEOs and some of the people at these levels so that we won't have the problems that we have now. I hope it doesn't come down to, personally hurting anyone. That's not my goal at all. But these higher ups at some of the corporations are putting their lower people in grave danger of lienable offenses, and they don't even know it. So, I hope that we can all come together and educate these people, and hopefully our voices will be heard, and our conditional acceptances and our claim liens and those types of things will be heard. And I can tell you, I have testimonies, many of them, that the Treasury is collecting on the claim liens. It's taking about 6 to 7 months, but people are getting money into the trust and money put back in their accounts, depending on how you request it. But we'll go over how to do a claim lien on another night. But as of now, start getting your pens and fingers ready to do some typing so that we can stand up as a group and start making our, the education that we've been, or teachings that we've been provided from people that are just volunteering their time to educate, that we're not wasting that information, that we're making it heard, and standing up to the fraud that's been placed on us together. So
there is and I actually responded, Dr. Mary Dressler, you were talking about the weight of the paper. That could be some good research there to find out which weight paper actually works best with these documents, how they look at them. I know Tara and I use bond paper on some things. I think our weight is just your standard printing paper right now that we get. But, if anybody wants to try different weights of paper to see which, they respond to the best. I mean, maybe it is something in the weight of the paper. Maybe it's, that would be a good test. Give testimony on, hey, I sent it with this paper and it went through. I sent it with this one and it didn't, So definitely, Mr. Bowen has all kinds of USC codes that, if you go back through the chat and look, he's throwing out the USC codes that you can also add into these conditional acceptances to
Okay, he says 15 USC 1681 B2. 15 USC 1681 B2. Privacy is our right.
Yep.
Fear is false evidence appearing real.
So also guys, if you do not have a notary that's close, you can have 2 witnesses. If you don't feel like going to sit at the bank and wait for them to notarize it, you can have 2 witnesses. 2 witnesses will actually give proof as well of who you are. So, you would put your lines on there, witnesses, witness 1, witness 2, have them, sign as a witness that they're attesting that they know who you are. So
if there was anyone in our area here, I'm a notary. If anyone lives in this area where I am, I'm a notary too, and I'll gladly, stamp the document for you. But so if you have questions, we are going to go over the claim of lien. So once you do the conditional acceptance, you're supposed to allow them 10 days to respond. I said 5 because I was very frustrated when I wrote that one. And they had already been given a different document because I was trying to be nice. Now I'm not trying to be nice anymore. I'm going to just do what I have to do because we have to. But I'm going to go over within the next, that's why I said we're going to probably do some education on Monday and for sure on Wednesday, because we'll go over how to write the claim of lien. So that whenever that time frame is up, you're ready to go and the claim of lien is ready to go, and how to monetize that and do the things that you need to do. I'm also creating a conditional acceptance for the credit for TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. It's going to be pretty strong. I'm going to add some more stuff into that from the USC codes and send that. I know that a lot of people that have sent something to them and said and quoted Public Law 7310 have gotten their some things removed from their credit by doing that. So, if you're worried about that, or if you need to get some things removed, you can do a conditional acceptance to the bureaus and see what happens too. Because as we all know, we should all have a 900 credit score. We've all paid our debts are paid, both public and private. So there should be no negative credit reporting. I think, and I don't know this to be true, but I think that credit bureaus might have actually been designed in the beginning to maybe see how many times our Cess Decay Trust was getting hit so that they would know how many times they could maybe hit the trust. I don't know this to be true, but just common sense and knowing that you can't fleece the trust, that might be a reason why they were created. But then somewhere along the way, they started making us not worthy of things that and depriving us of our rights. So we will go over how to write the claim of lien. And again, I'm going to put that conditional acceptance in the Telegram file so that y'all can have it. I'm not charging for it or anything like that. You can have access to it. I just need to change some things from my name in case it gets somehow into the scam group that it doesn't have my information.
So, will this work for court fines? Yes, it will. It will work for court fines. It'll work for child support. It will work for, anything that you're trying to fight.
Mm-hmm. Anything that you have credit on, any bill that you owe, anyone that's ever taken your social security number to give you an account and asked you for payment in return has entered into a fiduciary duty to you as your trustee to your trust. Anybody that has your social security number, has ever run credit on you, has entered into a fiduciary responsibility as a trustee to your trust, and a lot of them don't even realize. So when they get they have your social security number, and they have your driver's license number and everything with court cases. They've entered into a responsibility too, because first of all, they don't have jurisdiction over you. They can ticket the straw man, but they can't ticket you personally. Unless you've killed someone, trespassed, stolen, or done bodily injury. Anything beyond that, if you look back at the original Constitution, is not law, it's statute.
We actually are sending ours registered mail. I mean, not registered, certified mail, green card return receipt, because that way, you know that they've contracted with you through the mailbox rule. So, and I know people are saying that, you know, registered is de jure and certified is de facto. So, you know, I've also learned that certified is business to business. So we're actually sending it, you know, since we do have our business, we send it that way anyway. But I want the return receipt. I've got some registered mail stickers, but I don't have the cards. Or I would send it that way and see if it works any better. But
it works business to business.
But you definitely want to get the return receipt so that you have the contract. You can also do the digital receipt so it doesn't cost as much. That way, once they sign it and you've seen that it's been delivered, you can actually go in and put your email address in, and it will send you a PDF of who signed it. And then you can print that out for your records.
Hey, and if y'all want to network in here, if, you know, in our Telegram group, if y'all want a network of where you are located and that you're a notary, if you're a notary, you can let people know where you're located so that they know that they have a like-minded person to just stamp their documents. Because sometimes, like we've gone into Bank of America and they wouldn't sign an affidavit. One of the Chase banks didn't want to sign an affidavit. One of the Bank Americas wouldn't sign an affidavit. So if you get pushback from them in signing certain things because they don't know, they like to read over your documents. And if they, you know, so it's good to network. If you have people that live around you that are within our group that can notarize things and make it easier for you. That's what we're here for, to help each other. Or at least that's what I'm hoping we're here for, to help each other. Feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to tell me what more, you know, we can do. Or
okay, I didn't know that. The same green cards are actually used for both registered and certified. I guess I should read the whole green card. I just stick it on there and check the first couple of boxes that say certified. Okay, I'll look at the whole green card then. Because I have ordered like 600 registered mail stickers. So when those come in, that'll be great. Hopefully they'll come in.
Yeah.
Depends on what my post office wants to do.
I don't know that the mailman will bring them to our door. Our office is at our front door, and he has on when you send us a package that we have to sign for, he puts on there that no one was available, and he never knocked. So we sit here and look at our front door when we're working on your paperwork all day. So, you know, they didn't ring the doorbell or knock. So hopefully we did order those, and hopefully I
hope they'll be here this week.
Yeah.
I ordered them at the end of last week.
Like what do y'all feel? I mean, we're all challenging. We're all dealing with debt in some way. We're all dealing with things that we have to pay off. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just get them to accept what we're sending without having to fight every single time we wanted to do something? Don't you think that if we stood up as a group and continue to work together, and as this movement grows, the more And the louder that we get and the more they hear from us, the more they're going to say, wow, we better figure this out.
Yeah, I do have the registered stickers that are the registered label, the red, white, and black. So the conditional acceptance, once Tara takes her information off of it, as far as like account numbers, her name, and just leaves that blank so that it can be filled in. You're just going to go in and add your beneficiary name or their name. We'll drop it into the Telegram group.
Yeah, here's another thing I want to tell you. When you do the conditional acceptance, keep a copy of everything, because you're going to need a copy of what you sent to them with your witnesses' signatures or your notarized, copy of it, so that if you do need to file a claim of lien against them, you'll have the documentation showing that now you have power of attorney, the original that you sent with them. And you need to keep all of your certified mail receipts and certified mail numbers, proof that all of the proof. You can't have too much proof of everything. So keep a folder of everything that you send out. And I know that it can get costly, like making copies, and the bigger stack of a conditional acceptance we create, the more copies, but in the end, it'll be worth it because we're going to get the stuff paid off. It's just a matter of when. And if we can't get it paid off directly from them, then we'll do the claim of liens and we'll get it paid off that way.
Hey guys, if you're looking for a notary, she said that she has an online notary, but you have to pay because of the platform she uses. Chantel Winfrey has an online notary. That way, if you need somebody that's, you can't get them to do it, it's your bank or whatever, there's an option. But yeah, because of her platform that's used, you have to pay. These notaries have to keep books on everything that they do so that they're, don't get in trouble with stuff. I saw the Telegram link is in the chat, guys. If you are having trouble getting that, email Jarrett Realty Investors. I've got it pinned up at the top of the chat, and put Telegram link in the subject line, and we will send that out to you. I just figured out today how to actually get the link again. I haven't been able to get it, so I haven't been able to hand it out. I was blocked from my own channel. Yeah, 15 USC 1692 can use your privacy. Can the conditional acceptance still work? I would think that's what they're.
Yeah, you should have never had to file bankruptcy in the first place. Everything's already been paid. Ask in your conditional acceptance why, per HJR 192 of 1933 and in Public Law 7310, when all debts, both public and private, have already been paid, why you're in bankruptcy. They can't prove that you are. There's no reason why anyone should be in bankruptcy when everything's already been paid. I get frustrated. Sorry.
Chuck Jackson. Yeah, I saw that in the chat a couple of videos ago that there was a dealership in Idaho that was taking the 1099A. I don't know who it is or what the dealership's name is. If anybody remembers, if you could drop it, if you want to drop it in the chat. If not, maybe you can drop it in the Telegram channel or in the Telegram chat group. If you're in the Telegram, that way we can
go to, look, if you want to look up an EIN number, Google the company. And if it doesn't show you on Google what their EIN number is, go to D&B or Dun and Bradstreet And you can look up corporate companies and get their EIN number from Dun & Bradstreet, because most of your large corporations are going to be registered there. So go to Dun & Bradstreet on Google and just put in the company name, and you should have it. If you don't, you can always call them and ask them for it. They should be able to give it to you. Someone there should have the EIN number to tell them you want to send a payment in and you need the EIN number. That's what you need to do with child support and everything. Call the county, call the child support office and ask for the EIN number that you're making a payment, and you need to have that.
Yes, if you're fighting child support and a warrant, yeah, add that all in there. Use a conditional acceptance to stop it. Have them prove that you committed a crime, that you have them show you the injured party. Mm-hmm. Here we go, guys. Dave Smith Motors in Kellogg, Idaho.
Is he on board? I'll be glad to contact him.
The Winklers.
What, Dave Smith Auto. What is it?
Dave Smith Motors.
Okay.
In Kellogg, Idaho. The Winklers, if you know who that is, and if you can get in touch with them and they want to set up a call, we'd be more than happy to talk with them to see if they're, on board to be in our dealer.
We're making a dealer Telegram group for, dealers, not dealers that you refer. I do not want you to refer a dealer to me. If they want to be in the group, I want to hear from them that they want to be in the group. And then we're creating a CPA, financial, and attorney group in Telegram to network together. It's going to be very, very strict of who is allowed into those groups. You're going to have to show some type of credentials to us so that I know that you're not scamming. And not saying that you are, just don't take it personally. You know the scams that we're dealing with. So please understand that in the realtor group, we're going to confirm credentials. If you are not a realtor or a title company and you can't prove so, you're not getting in the group, because these groups are allowed for us to network and to, move things forward in the industries that we are all in. So we're doing an attorney, financial, CPA, accountant Telegram page. And we're going to do a dealership Telegram page. And again, if we have enough doctors within our group, which I know we have some, if y'all want to network in the medical field, we can do that. And we can set up a medical group. And we will have designated people to lead those groups that are within those industries. We will be having Zoom calls to network together, to find out what we need to do as a group. And when funds come in, how we can, just move forward. I want to say too, that if you're a doctor in here, or you are a esthetician, massage therapist, whatever industry that you're in, if you want to accept a 1099-A from your clients, if someone doesn't have insurance and they're coming to you, if they can pay for the year or whatever, if they're going to have a procedure done, they can give you a 1099-A. You can wait until you get the funds in to treat them, with the procedure or whatever, especially if it's elective. Just different ways that we can network together. So I want to build those groups to help our movement and to help the industries involved in that movement.
Yes, you can use a 1099-A for alimony if you don't want to go through if you don't want to do a conditional acceptance and do all of that, just pay them with a 1099-A. Use a 1099-A to get the alimony paid off. So
attorneys, and let me just say this, and let me specify something. Attorneys that recognize constitutional law. Okay, if you're representing the bar, and you haven't come to awaken to the fact that that's fraudulent, we don't need you in our group. If you understand that it is fraudulent, but you're having to still participate in the system for livelihood, but you are willing to work on the constitutional law side, there's opportunity going forward for you. I promise, as this movement grows, as we build our court systems on the common law side, which most assemblies are trying to do, there's very much need for attorneys that are awake, and there's a lot of need for CPAs that are awake. So, please don't think that you're going to lose your license or anything like that. We need like-minded people to come on board to move this movement along. Also, if you're a realtor, I'll forget to tell them this. If you're a realtor and you want to be a part of our Telegram group, email Jarrett Realtor Network at gmail.com. Jarrett Realtor Network at gmail.com. I have someone that is a realtor, an admin of ours, that is managing that channel. So that email is not going to come to me. It's going to go directly to her. And that's going to be a faster process to get you into that group versus getting bogged down into my emails with forms and all of that. So if you're a realtor, and please understand and please be respectful of the fact that we're going to want credentials to make sure that we're not allowing scammers in there, and that we are allowing people in there that are within our movement that are not just out for referrals, but are actually like-minded on the same page as us. So those are the people we want to work with. And
is that the email before I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just dropped it in the chat, guys.
And again,
realtors only.
Realtors, if you work at a title company, if you're a developer, just if we have credentials, we'll let you in, but you have to have credentials to be within that group.
No, 1099-A does not have to go on your tax return.
Yeah, if you do a 1099 online to pay a debt and you do it the way that we have shown you to do it, that is going to notify and trigger them to file the OID. Yeah, Cheryl Williams, you are correct. Highly important knowledge is knowing the state doesn't register living man or winning court cases. They register the straw man for accountability, so they can't take you to jail. Yes, please continue to pay your bills. Do not stop paying your bills. I'm not telling you to stop paying your bills. I'm never telling you to stop paying your bills. You still have to pay them until you have a zero balance. So please don't ever say that the Jarrett said that I don't have to pay bills. That's not true. We are not saying that at all whatsoever.
Nope. Oh, Darius Wright, I got your, I saw your email.
Tracy Kemp, where can I find UCC and USC codes? You can look them up. You can Google them, and they're on there. You can order a UCC book. It's very expensive. It's and the codes, it's like $300 or something.
$200 to $300. I know that each state has in the I think in Texas, I looked through the Secretary of State, and you can actually find the UCC codes in their website. So each state should have them. they might not have all of them, but they'll have the majority of them. So, and I normally just go through and download whatever UCC codes I want to look at or USC codes I want to look at, and just pull it up and download it, and then I can go through them.
If anyone's repossessed your vehicle ever, you can also go after not only the company that had the mortgage, but the tow company that towed your vehicle, because they removed your property. They removed your property from your residence. So from your home, from your personal property, that's your personal property that they moved without your consent. So you can do a conditional acceptance and lien them also. Go into our Telegram files and look at the fee schedule, and that'll help you know what to lien. If you don't know how much to lien, that'll be a ballpark figure of what you should do. Hey, John Blackstar, your post office will give you a roll of 100. They won't give them to us. They won't give them to us.
So basically, when somebody was saying that the USPS is a for-profit, when I was in there trying to explain to them that they work for the people, they basically told me, no, we don't. We work for our supervisors and whoever's above them. So they don't work for you guys. They don't work for us. They work for a corporation. So, I was basically told that, and it's been a fight ever since with all of my stuff. So. Yeah, they need a court order to seize a car, but have you ever seen a court order? Yeah, USPS is public, right? And I actually asked ours where the de jure location was, and she looked at me like I was stupid. So I guess I don't have one around here.
I don't go to the post office. I'll let Drew do that. I work on paperwork while he goes to the post office.
MAC, there'll be a template in there, so that you can actually see the template and learn. I'm a audio and visual learner. I'm not very good at like reading and learning everything. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. So we will have an example of the conditional acceptance in there. So.
Here. We'll take a few more questions and then we're going to call it a night, so we don't keep y'all too long. If we have offered them a form payment, because try doing from one postmaster to another when you talk to them.
Okay.
And I wrote it down so you don't forget.
Okay. That'll work.
I mean, the only other form, Aaron, to use for child support other than the 1099A is an accept for value. If they send you a coupon statement of what you have to pay monthly, you can send that back, accept for value per HJR 192 and Public Law 7310, and you can quote some other things on there if you want to that apply for court stuff, but you can do it with a UCC 1-308 and endorse it on the back and send a coupon in. Other than that, the only other thing to do is conditionally accept them. Is there a rule of thumb for finding the templates on Telegram? I know Telegram is difficult to use if you're not familiar with it. When you're in the chat channel, which again, if you don't have an invite link from us, you might be in the wrong one. Yeah, there's a lot of people in the wrong one. A whole lot of people are in the wrong chat channel. So I want you to really look at that and make sure that you've received a link from us. If you have not received a link from us or from the chat and YouTube during our lives, you are in the wrong channel. If you have your settings on where they're not private, people can drag you into their groups automatically. You don't even have to go and put yourself in the group. People can pull you into their groups if you don't have your settings done right. But when you go into our Telegram page, into our chat channel, and you go to our logo, click on the logo, and that'll bring up a list of things. And files is one of the drop downs, and our templates will be in the files.
And yeah, you can copy it. You should be able to get it, guys.
And if you ask one of the admins, they'll be able to direct you on how to go find it if you can't find it. But it's under the logo, under files, and you'll see the templates.
So common law lawyer in California says HJR 192 is no longer valid because the U.S. is broke. Well, HJR 192 actually bankrupted the country. It basically took all gold and silver away, and that's why we use negotiable instruments. That's why the Federal Reserve note was created. That's why there is no U.S. dollar. So the common law lawyer actually does not know what they're talking about. I mean, it's never been changed, guys.
They want you to think it doesn't exist. It still exists. HJR 192 and Public Law 7310 that's not changed. They just don't want to lose their.
Well, he's a common law. I don't get what he's talking about. So if you're needing our address, our physical address, please email.
And ask for it. Put address in the subject line. You don't have to say anything else. If you're typing me an email that's long, I'm not reading it. I'm just letting you know. I'm printing documents and I'm addressing what needs to be addressed so I can get through them. I'm not reading long documents. If you've got a situation going on, the best thing you can do is notify. And I mean a dire situation. We can't speed up the process. Here's the deal. If you're homeless, I feel for you. I understand that you're in a struggle situation. There's a lot of people in our group that are struggling in different circumstances right now. But we can't speed up your process. We can't speed up the funds coming in. So if anyone wants to donate to the cause of helping people that are in dire situations, I can tell you this. We are confirming that they really are in those types of situations. We are making sure that we have documentation showing that they're in those types of situations. It's unfortunate that we can't believe everyone, but because we've been scammed by people saying they're homeless and they're not quite. But there are some people in here that are in dire situations. So if you would like to contribute to the cause and help them, We have had someone within our movement that has stepped up and helped someone pay their rent for the month so that they didn't lose their house. We have kids living in cars with their parents. We have CPS threatening to take their kids because they don't have a roof over their head. And we know what CPS does with children. So if you want to donate to the cause and help those people, you can use our Cash App, our Venmo, our Zelle until we get our website up and do the Give, Send, Go. In the meantime, if you want to donate, you can put in the description that it's a donation, and we'll make sure that we're helping those people. Just a thought, if your heart so desires,
Spring Herb, DM me again, because I just tried to look for you in Telegram and I can't find you. I don't know if you got a different username or what, but I can't find you, so I won't be able to find your paperwork. I'm still going through the Telegram chat, guys, or the DMs. What a lot of people do not realize is that as I respond, a lot of people DM. It takes me back up to the top. I can't even get to the bottom, because as I'm scrolling, and if somebody DMs me, it takes me right back to the top. I am trying to do the best I can with that. So if I have not responded to you and it's been a couple of weeks, please DM me again, because the ones that are DMing, I get. Especially if they've said, hey, I sent this on this date, or if you get with an admin and say, hey, I sent this back on such and such date, they'll let me know and I'll go find it. But I've got to have your username. I can't just go and try to type in something and see if I find it. So, and then, yes, the link that Texian is dropping into the chat is the correct link. It might not be open yet. I know a lot of times the admins close down until we are done with the live, and as soon as the live is open, as soon as the live is over, they open the chat group back up, so that everybody can come into it.
Abby, can I share the mortgage conditional acceptance and the one that I mentioned last Q&A? That's the one that I shared tonight. I'm going to be dropping it in the Telegram channel and under files. Someone just said the U.S. is not broke. We have gold and other assets and reserves.
But we can't use them, guys. And
the bank and the corporation is bankrupt, so that's false.
If you've got gold and silver to pay for your debts, then you need to, prove to us that you have gold and silver to pay for your debts. We all use Federal Reserve notes, which is a negotiable instrument, which is no backing. So it's a piece of paper with our money is, the Federal Reserve note is not backed by gold or silver. So we're broke. The Federal Reserve note is about, I think the last I looked, it's around 60 cents, might be a little less than that on the dollar.
Mm-hmm. You need to tune in to the national debt calculator. That's on our Telegram channel too. But tune in to the national debt calculator. That's what it is, right? Every day you can watch that. It's got an algorithm to it, but it's in real time pretty much.
I got her stuff today. So, all right, guys, we're gonna end it. And we will be doing a Q&A tomorrow on Telegram at 4:30. So we will see everyone there that is in the Telegram chat. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. So let's go ahead and close out in prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this time together. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to learn more from you and from each other. And we just pray that as we go about each and every day, we would be a light in people's dark world, and that we would shine a light into what you would have them to see and awaken to, Lord Jesus, so that we can all come together and have the great awakening that you so desire us to have. Please bless the rest of this week for each and every one of us. And it is in your name that we pray. Amen.
All right, guys. Hope you have a great night. We will see or talk to every one of you guys on tomorrow at 4:30 on Telegram.
Yeah, have a blessed night.
Have a blessed night. Blessed rest of the week.
And the conditional acceptance will either be in there this evening, but probably most likely in the morning, because I need to edit a few things out of it for my personal information, so that if the scammers that are out there won't take my stuff and move it over to theirs with my name on it. So if you could just give me until tomorrow morning sometime, I'll have it up there by afternoon. Thank you and have a good night.